loved without performance. There is something inside of me that is done performing. Not angry, not dramatic, just done. Done adjusting the tone of my voice so it lands softly enough. Done reading the room before I enter it. Done calculating what version of me will be easiest to receive. There is something inside of me that is tired of auditioning for belonging. And it says this: I will be loved exactly as I am without performance, or I will die. I accept both as equal. Now, when I say that, I don't mean my body will die. I mean something else dies. And something else lives. Because most of us learned very early that love was conditional. We didn't sit down and decide that consciously. We felt it. We felt when the room tightened. We felt when approval withdrew. We felt when affection cooled. We felt when we were too much or not enough. Too loud, too sensitive, too emotional, too curious, too inconvenient. And so we learned to adapt. We became excellent observers. We learned the micro shifts in our parents' faces. We learned what made teachers smile. We learned what made coaches nod. We learned what kept us inside the circle. That wasn't weakness. That was brilliance. That was a nervous system preserving attachment. Because as a child, attachment is survival. Love is oxygen. Belonging is life. And so performance becomes protection. You become what the environment can tolerate. You become what earns safety. You become what keeps you included. And over time, you forget that you're performing. It just feels like you. And here's the problem. Performance is exhausting. Performance requires constant vigilance. Performance never rests. Because the moment you stop performing, you fear love will disappear. So you perform in relationships. You perform in achievement. You perform in spirituality. You perform in healing. You perform even in authenticity. And that is the subtle trap. Even being real can become a performance if it's done to secure approval. And at some point in a man's life or a woman's life, there comes a moment of exhaustion. A moment when something inside says, I cannot keep living like this. Not because I hate anyone, not because I blame anyone, but because I am disappearing. And that's the death I'm talking about. When I say, I will be loved exactly as I am, without performance, or I will die, I mean this. The performer dies. The contortionist dies. The shapeshifter dies. The self-abandoner dies. Because self-abandonment is the real death. It's quiet. It's socially acceptable. It even gets rewarded. But it is a slow erosion of the soul. And here's the truth that's hard to hear. If someone cannot love you as you are, you do not die. You feel it. You ache. You grieve. Your ego might panic. Your nervous system might activate. But you do not die. What dies is the illusion that you needed their approval to exist. And that death, that is liberation. Now let me say something important. When a child feels unloved, It truly does feel like death. So the body wires rejection as annihilation. And that's why, as adults, criticism can feel overwhelming. That's why conflict can feel unbearable. That's why silence can feel terrifying. It's not about now. It's about then. The body remembers a time when love equaled survival. So when I say, I accept both as equal, I'm speaking from the adult. I'm saying, I would rather let the false self die than continue abandoning myself to keep love. That is sovereignty. That is not rage. That is not collapse. That is clarity. And clarity is calm. There is something incredibly peaceful about no longer negotiating your existence, no longer adjusting your personality to secure connection, no longer shrinking to stay inside someone else's comfort zone, just standing, just breathing, just being, and saying, this is me, not optimized, not curated, not strategically softened, just me. If you can meet me here, beautiful. If you cannot, I release you without superiority, without resentment, without needing you to change. Because love that requires performance is not love. It's a contract. And contracts have clauses. Real love does not require contortion. Real love does not require constant proof. Real love allows you to exhale. And here's the paradox. To be loved without performance, you must first stop performing. And that is terrifying. Because performance has been your armor. It has been your identity. It has been your competence. It has been your pride. So when you lay it down, you feel naked. You feel exposed. You feel uncertain. But you also feel alive. Because for the first time, you are not managing perception. You are inhabiting your body. You are allowing yourself to be seen without filters. And that takes immense courage. Now, let's go one layer deeper. In family constellations language, performance is often loyalty. A child will carry the emotional burden of the system. A child will perform strength for a fragile parent. A child will perform invisibility to avoid adding stress. A child will perform success to redeem a family narrative. And that performance becomes love. So when you stop performing, it can feel like betrayal. It can feel like you are abandoning the system. But you're not. You are simply returning responsibility to where it belongs. You are saying, I will stand in my place. I will not carry what is not mine. I will not perform to stabilize the field. I will simply be. And when you stand in your place, something extraordinary happens. The system recalibrates because truth reorganizes the field, not force, not performance, truth. So this vow, I will be loved exactly as I am without performance, is not an ultimatum to the world. It is a boundary within myself. It is a decision. I will not abandon myself to secure connection. I will tolerate the discomfort of being fully seen. I will allow love to find me in my natural state, And if it does not arrive in a particular place, I will not collapse. I will not twist. I will not chase. I will remain because I belong before anyone approves of me. I belong before I achieve anything. I belong because I exist. And so, if something must die, let it be the mask. Let it be the armor. Let it be the belief that I must earn my worth. What remains is simpler, quieter, steadier. A man who stands, a woman who stands, a human being who no longer auditions for love. And that is not death. That is freedom.